On this episode of Lapeef Let's Talk,
because the government is pushing for this women leadership and it's making the men look bad. Is it some sorry niggas out here? Yes, it is. Should they be kicked out to the curb? Yes. But if the system is gaming it, the system is playing all of us. Like I said, look at your favorite Black Manosphere, Red Pill. I think that's what they call it. Red Pill channel. And look at the talking points that these guys are talking about. A lot of times they will put it out on Black women, but don't understand that the reason the Black women is in the position to do this to them is because of it's a policy. And they'll never fight against that policy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I just fundamentally disagree. And I don't want to belabor the point because, I'm a deep dive into some of the stuff that, I was just talking about your point specifically, and I know it's some other people that want to go. But we'll kick it. We got time.
And then by empowering these women for YouTube and internet purposes, it looked like it's a gender war. But if you listen to the men arguments truly and factually, they're not fighting against the women. They're fighting against the system. The women just exercising their options. It's an option that these women have. It's an option that these women have with the kids. All these different options that these women have that, hey, look, you know what? If you're a woman, you're going to get this. Hey, if you're a businesswoman, you're going to get this. The government is doing this to put men against women. And then now Black men need to wake up and start understanding that, hey, look, you know what? It's not necessarily these women. They just taking advantage and using the leverage that's given them by the government. So truly, do I hate my Black women for exercising the leverage that the government give them? No, I don't. But guess what? I tell them, I will start hating them if they continue to let the government use these tools to pin us against one another, because they constantly do it with this election, with these equity policies. They're pinning Black men against Black women, and we're going for it hook and sinker. And we looking stupid on this internet. Like I said this before. My sister Kay and Kayla, I have no issues with you. People look at the internet and think that, oh yeah, Logic and Kay. No, I don't have an issue with them sisters. Because most of the time what we're truly debating, we're debating the policies and how it affects us. So I'm debating these sisters on these policies, and hopefully one day they will come to that common sense to understand it's not a gender war. It should be us against these states. We get rid of these safety nets, and then we'll watch a Black society flourish.
That's what I'm talking about, Mr. Logic. I agree with
Mr.
what
Logic,
you said.
you know why you're wrong?
Absolutely.
Let me tell you why I think you're wrong, bro. Let's assume that everything you say is absolutely correct, right? The people that are making the laws are overwhelmingly being voted in by, and these elections are being determined by who? Women. When you look at your government, they're literally a reflection of the people that they represent. So if you say that the system and you need to war against the system, how can you ask a woman to go against what it is that she's advocating for in order to war against something that she feels like is benefiting her? So if you're saying it's the system is the people in which they represent, because they're the ones that are swaying the elections, that's ultimately determining the policies that empower or disable them from being able to do what it is that they want to do. And they're never going to put that genie back in the bottle.
Okay, can I answer your question though?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm asking your question. This is the thing. You're totally right. And if you heard me, I said that it's hard to get these women to go against a system that's giving them this advantage. But on the other hand, they got to be able to look at the bigger picture. See, it will always be this so-called war if we don't look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, yes, you get the leverage, woman, Black woman, in this case, you get the leverage, but look what you're getting the leverage. Look what it does to our community. If you give two rat's ass about this community, then you will give up that leverage. And then they're giving you leverage to what?
You're missing the point that I'm asking. You're missing the point that I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if we're assuming that you're absolutely 100% correct, right?
I am correct.
Fair enough. So let's leap off that policy. You're asking women to go against the thing that they've advocated for and is not putting that genie in a bottle. So you're asking women to war against themselves because the system is a reflection of the thing that they're leaning on in order to get a leg up.
And
you're
you're
not going to ask women to war against women, is what I'm saying.
No, I'm not asking them to do this. I'm asking them to sit here and look at they boys in the eye and tell them, do they want their boys to be disadvantaged because they're a black boy? Look at their community in the eye and say, do they want their community to be crippled because of these policies? Now, if them two answers, they say, no, I do not, then guess what? Now we got something to talk about on the table. But if you really want to be honest, all this black manosphere, all these talking channels, it's not the men warring against the women. It's them warring against the system. But it just so happens that the policies that they're going against, it benefits the women. So now when it comes into the bigger picture of it, it just looks like the men is warring against the women when they're not. They actually going to war against the policies, but the women is in between the government and the men. So now, when these talking points come up, it's going to look like they fight against each other. But I'm telling you, we're not fighting against each other. We're fighting against somebody that's putting you in front, and you the front man for these policies that's destroying in our community.
I mean, I guess we could just agree to disagree. I think that in some of the points we're kind of agreeing, but I think that that we don't see eye to eye as far as what the system represents and what the system really is. So I get, we can agree to disagree. I'm with it.
But Antoine, I'm gonna ask you this question then, real fast, just a quick side note. If it's a policy that comes out that benefits, and this is what happened in the black community too, that benefits the top 10% of black people, that top 10% would take it, but they won't understand, or they don't give a fuck that it's destroying the other 90%. What we do is we continue to take that, and we'll be in the top 10%. We'll continue to take that, but we won't understand that, guess what? We're destroying that 90%. And then when your child go up, they might not be in that top 10% that you was in. So now what they going to inherit? They're going to inherit a broken process. They're going to inherit a community that's full of women leadership, just like you discussed earlier, because the government is pushing for this women leadership, and it's making the men look bad. Is it some sorry niggas out here? Yes, it is. Should they be kicked out to the curb? Yes. But if the system is gaming it, the system is playing all of us. Like I said, look at your favorite black manosphere, red pill. I think that's what they call it, red pill channel. And look at the talking points that these guys are talking about. A lot of times they will put it out on black women, but don't understand that the reason the black women is in the position to do this to them is because of it's a policy. And they'll never fight against that policy. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I just fundamentally disagree. And I don't want to belabor the point because, I'm a deep dive into some of the stuff that, I was just talking about your point specifically, and I know with some other people that want to go. But we'll kick it. We got time.